Interesting facts about World War I tanks. Do you know where the name tank comes from? The name tank actually comes from the most unusual source of places. The name tank actually refers to a water tank. They were nicknamed this during first production to throw any spies away from the tank. It's the name tank, and the name stuck for generations. It could also mean men surrounded by metal. Did you know the first ever test trials with tanks were used by American tractors, specifically American box tractors? This is one such example to test out the tracks. After the testing was done, they were used to transport food and supplies to the battlefield across rough terrain. The latest model of box tractor was made in 2019, and they're still being made today. But they're also used in Vietnam, because the same company made tree crushers that were used in Vietnam by the Americans to destroy woods where NBA hiders would have been fighting in. Did you know there's a bunch of different variants of British tanks? The most famous is the British male and female. But did you know that there's 4 models of males and 4 models of females? The difference being that males have cannons on the front and females only armed with machine guns. Did you know a tank's bulky design was designed to help get it stuck out of ditches and trenches? And did you know that the carriages that are often seen behind tanks actually help carry extra ammunition and allow it to get over no man's land and trenches easier? And some tanks had an unditching gear on the top and a bunch of wood wrapped together that the crew had to jump out and manually push into the trench to get it over the trench. The German army saw the successes with British tanks and made their own variants, although it was not the best. Only about 400 were made, and the first ever one captured was captured by an Australian unit. So as a result, the Germans turned to other methods. These tanks were armed with a stubby cannon and a bunch of machine guns and a 16-man crew. And also, engines caused carbon dioxide poisoning. There was no toilet or hygiene facilities on board. But most importantly, there was no storage for food. While the Germans could only spend hours inside their tanks, the British could spend a few days. And there was also no radiators, which was another problem. And oftenly, German soldiers had to wear gas masks inside their own tanks. As a response to this, the Germans started capturing British tanks. Although this was a hard and lengthy process. First, they had to damage the tank and disable it. And the damage had to be minimal, so that way it could be captured at night. Try and drive it back without the Allies noticing. See if they got the parts to repair the damage. And see if they could actually use it, and test it and drive it. This was another problem, because these were resources that Germany desperately needed. The German High Command were very cautious about using up their tanks. Meanwhile, the British could constantly just make more. But artillery cannons seemed to do the trick, which led to the development of the very first anti-tank mines and the very first anti-tank rifle that shot 50 caliber rounds.